Hi, my name is Amy. Thank you very much for watching, and let's make some bad financial decisions together. This is for entertainment purposes only, so if you're entertained, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. So this month, I earned $9,883.73 in distributions. And let me tell you that it did not feel like I was going to get almost $10,000 in distributions. I've been kind of worried about everything all month, mostly because I have so much ulti. So on Monday, I actually sold out of half of my ulti, and I feel so much better. But I do not know what that means for my portfolio going forward in the short term, how much that will affect how I'm getting paid, because if I sell half, then I'm missing out on half of those distributions every week. But because we had a bad September, which everybody expects September to be bad, and so it felt like I was getting less and less in distributions every week anyways. And on Monday, I did a lot of changes. So I think October is going to be very interesting for what my distributions are and how things shake out. I think in the long term, the way that I have hedged now and basically balanced things is going to work out very well for me. But in the short term, I'm probably going to have less distributions. So what does that mean? I budget myself to spend $6,000 every month, and I paid with my credit cards this month $5,273.53. I mean, that's not just the credit cards. That's like my mortgage, got all of my utility bills, the internet, and everything. I spent $5,273.53 in total. So what I'm paying next month because of the credit cards and everything will be what I actually spent in September. And I basically had a no spend month, except my toilet broke, so I had to go buy a new kit for that. But that was under $100. So what I'm saying is I took out an extra $750 every week, and I used that to pay the principal of my 0% credit cards. So we've done that. What I'm going to do for October, because I think that I'm going to get around $2,000 less because I'm not in ulti anymore, I'm actually going to assume it's going to be $6,000 plus $1,000 that I'm going to overpay. So I'm still going to pay my principal and get those knocked out hopefully pretty soon. But I am going to be more conservative with how much money I take out and reinvest more as October goes. Because of that, but also right now, my biggest concern with this, besides minimally paying all of my bills every month, is I want to transfer the assets from my individual account to my leveraged trash account. And what my leveraged trash account is, I made this on Monday, and basically it's a cash account on Robinhood. They're both taxable accounts, but this one, because it's a cash account, I don't have margin, and I do have level 2 options trading on this. But with that, it means that I can be in leverage stuff, and if it goes down, then it goes down, but I'm not going to get margin called. So I just think that the problem I was running into with just being consumed with thoughts on my portfolio was 1/3 of my entire portfolio was in ulti, and ulti has a tendency to go down. And it's not a problem with the ulti strategy. It was a problem with the amount of ulti I have in my portfolio. So also, full transparency, I did make a members only video and actually publish it. But when I was doing the transfer with you all, I had selected that I only wanted a certain amount of each of the assets to transfer over, but it actually transferred over the entirety of my MST and I believe it was the PLTW. And I didn't realize that, so I sold out a bunch of Ulti because I was like, why is my margin buffer so off? And so I wound up actually just selling half of my portfolio of the Ulti. And then after I finished filming, I was like, wait, we have like $40,000 in my leverage trash account, and I only transferred over like 18 shares of each of these. So I transferred those assets back into my individual account to help with the margin buffer, and then I had a 50% margin buffer, but my October is looking like it's going to be very expensive as well. So in order to make sure that I keep making enough money so that I can pay what I did in October off in November, I did invest more into WNTR to get me closer to where I need to be as a hedge. I'm targeting 10%. And then also, I think because YQQ it only pays like a 15-20% distribution, but SLTY is like more closer to 50%. I might sell my YQQ and put it into SLTY. All three of these are inverses, so I am expecting them to lose money. And also this week, SLTY changed the maintenance ratio from 100% to 25%. So the thing is, if there's a very sharp downturn, if we get close to that 7% downturn or 20% downturn, then the hope is that these inverses are enough so that my entire portfolio isn't wiped out and I don't get my margin called. And so I'll have, I'll be able to take the time to sell whatever assets I need to. Anyways, the goal is to not sell any of these assets. This is the amount that I need to be in order to make the amount so that I can pay my bills. So we're going to do this in a balanced way, slowly taking MST, Ulti, XBTY, MVYY, and PLTW and transferring them over to my leverage trash. I'm going to, when I can invest in things or reinvest, go really pretty heavy into GDXY. Even if it doesn't have the best total returns, it pays like a 50% distribution, which is what I need right now. So eventually what I want to do is the leverage trash account will pay my bills, and this individual account will pay down this margin and also pay the premium for my loan accounts and my 0% credit cards. So that's what I want. I want my leverage trash to have enough to pay, have at least $7,000 that I'm getting in distributions every month. And then this will have more steady and more sane things in the portfolio, be better balanced. And also it'll just pay down the margin, have what I need in order to pay taxes and pay down my debts aggressively. So that's what I'm hoping to do with these two accounts. If we look at my investing, I am more comfortable. So if you look at the total return, basically it's gold and PLTW. Those are the only things that I'm positive on my total return, how Robinhood calculates it. But if we sort by equity, Ulti's still my largest position in this account. But PLTW is also doing pretty well, and it's just MVY, Goldie, and Misty, and then everything else is a smaller position. So I really, really want to make sure that I'm not in an imbalance when I'm transferring it over. That way, if, if I transfer all of my Bitcoin related things first and then the AI goes down 50%, that's not great. Or if Palantir has a moment and it just goes down 50%, I would rather just a balanced approach to transferring the assets to the other account. And then maybe my investment account might have like 10% leverage things, something where it's like a normal portfolio that it's looking like. But for right now, all I'm doing is continuing to do 80% of the distributions I get from retirement account. I pay my taxes, and then actually starting in October, I'm just going to transfer the whole thing into my investment account, and at least 30% of it will go into gold that way, or like the gold paying ETFs. That way, when I pay my quarterly taxes, I can use my margin to pay the quarterly taxes. And with even like KGLD, that 5% I'm paying in margin is way less than the 30% that I'm paying. Like over time, it'll build. And like if I spend the money or I never received the money in the first place because it got held in federal taxes, then I don't have the opportunity to have it compound and grow my wealth over time. So 5-10 years from now, it'll be the better move to have it in this account, not pay margin on it, and then or like have it pay down the margin and then just use the 5% margin to pay the federal taxes. Or honestly, if when I get to that, it'll be a combination of that month, whatever distributions I have goes to pay taxes and using margin. Anyways, it's complicated and I'm not perfect at it yet, but this October is going to be the first quarter where I actually pay my own taxes. So that'll be exciting and confusing, but I will reference it. We won't do it together because it involves a lot of really personal information. But I feel like I went a little off topic, kind of in a tangent, but overall, I'm feeling better about this account. I don't like obsessing about things and not having an action plan for it. Now that I have an action plan to make my individual account less risky and also to maintain the amount of distributions I have, I feel much better about this, even though it's still a work in progress. And I did do my first MSTX. I sold a put on it, and not my first one in general, just like the first one in a while. And I didn't wind up getting assigned, which is nice. So I think for now, with my margin buffer being at a 38%, I have around $9,000 less out in margin than I had this time last week. So what I think I'm going to do is actually do like 3 contracts on MSTX because it'll be options collateral. It'll make my margin buffer less, but it is also more stable because the value of the actual contract doesn't go down until it's either expires worthless or you get assigned and then the value goes down. So in that way, I should be able to, because MSTX, if you look at it, well, first of all, it has a better price than MSTU at this moment because you sell a put for this part of the options wheel. And so if you get like $35 at $17, that's like an 80% distribution rate. So, and like I could go up, but I don't particularly want to get assigned. So I think I'll do just like a few really out of the money ones as a laddered approach. And we'll just do this options wheel. And if I get assigned, I will transfer the asset to my cash account and do the option wheel from that account. That way, if MSTX really has a moment, like, I won't get margin called. But these are just because I did need that amount of money and margin out making money, but now I've invested it mostly in like the inverses. And so I just want to make sure that I'm maintaining around $9,000 per month and increasing it every month, because I really do like having the $6,000 for my bills, $3,000 to pay everything off aggressively, and then in 2 or 3 years, I should be able to lower my monthly bills from being $6,000 a month to like $3,500 a month. It's just that right now at this exact moment, I have everything on loan. So we're making our way through it and having enough time and the reflection to say like, oh no, October is going to be really expensive. And it's really not all that bad. My basic, well, all, I'm staring at my dog. So all eight of the animals in my house should go and get their rabies shots this month. But it might just be 6 because my 2 oldest cats are like almost 20 years old, and one of them has a heart murmur that gets worse with stress. So I don't want to kill her trying to get her immunized, but I also don't want her to get rabies. So we'll see if I can even get her to the vet. But otherwise, I have 6 animals in my house that all need to go to the vet, and all of them are going to be like $75 to get to the vet. And then I got invited to that conference in San Diego, and I'm waiting to see what the people are willing to, I'm waiting for the specifics, and then I'll have a budget, and hopefully it won't be that expensive to go relatively, but it is more travel than I was planning on doing. So, but I did mention this before, it's the Stocktoberfest. And, it's going to be a really good networking opportunity. And like Granite Shares wants to partner with me with YieldMight. So the more that I can get exposure to people in the industry, the better it will be for my business. So I just need to be strategic about and make sure that I am actually making the amount of money that I need in order for this to be sustainable. So I also updated my Ulti payback because I sold so much. I'm now at 18% ROI. We'll see how this goes going forward. I was assuming it would be like a 1% ROI each payment. So we'll see how this goes. And overall, I'm really happy with getting like a 68% average yield across my entire taxable account. That is actually really aggressive and really amazing. For me, the perfect amount would be like 50 to 60%. So just a little bit more than when I had my YMAX and Goldie portfolio. But I think we're on a good path. And so once I have things transferred over and I'm comfortably making at least $10,000 a month, I'll be able to better balance my portfolios and make sure that they are sustainable for the long term. So anyways, thank you so much for listening to me ramble. And how did you do in September? And I will talk to you all later. Bye.